the men of the Middle North have dealt the first blow to the Fanim. Shimei is now one step closer. The Nansir and Anani catch up to the rest. The Holy War is finally reunited. Encamped on the plains of Mengeta, the Enrithi are plagued with nightmares and a lingering sense of dread. This ground, where the no-god was felled thousands of years ago, is said to be haunted. In the ruins of what may have once been a great city, Kellus watches as the great names assemble to discuss their next move. He has elected to sit with the rank-and-file soldiery rather than his fellow princes, cultivating a reputation for humility while surveying the troubled expressions of the noblemen he aims to conquer. So far, Kellus' plotting has borne fruit. His prophecy has secured Saobon's allegiance, and his demand for the Shryle Knights to be punished has caused the skin spy Sarcellus to fall in battle. Although the same face seems to gaze at Kellus now, the Dunye notices subtle discrepancies. His stance, his height and build, even the luster of his black hair, all imperceptibly different. The original Sarcellus was dead, a replacement sent in its stead. Kellus matched the thing's unblinking gaze. Since his first encounter with Skios on the Andiamine Heights, he'd refined his understanding of their peculiar physiognomy. Where others saw blemished or beautiful faces, he saw eyes peering through clutched fingers. So far, he'd identified 11 of the creatures masquerading as various powerful personages, and he had no doubt there were more. Kellus reasons that the skin spies must suspect him of seeing through their disguises, and yearn to find out how this is possible. The other Enrithi suspect little. Some have heard of Kellus and silently hope that he might be God-sent. Others think him a fraud. Yet others are too preoccupied to care, or haunted by unnatural nightmares. In Saobon, however, he senses anguish, a deepening fear. Something has happened to the Galeoth prince on the battlefield, something more grievous than losing kinsmen or sacrificing Shryle Knights. After leading the prayer, old Grandmaster Goshen addresses the assembly. 4 nights ago I sent a scroll to Mathanet, our most holy Shrya, exalted father of our holy war. Upon that scroll I wrote but one word, for my fingers still bled. Triumph. The exultant Enrithi howl, wail, and praise the god of gods. Once the masses settle down, Prince Scaelt rises to address them in his foreign tongue. Wheat dau hera mut Keflinga. Keflinga! One of Gothyelk's men translates the Thunyeri's words. He says we must leave this place, that we must flee. In the uproar that follows, Scaelt starts kicking the ground. He crouches with his knife and digs at the earth before rising to show what was under his feet. He shows them a skull, then tosses it into the fire. Somehow, the dead are surfacing, like drowned men. The decision is made to leave Mengeta as soon as possible. The ceremony continues as the priest Kumor names Saobon Battle Celebrant, the one combatant most favored by the god of war, he who has fought with Gilgal's limbs. Hesitant, Saobon kneels to receive the symbolic circlet. His eyes seek Kellus in the crowd, the whole assembly noticing. Suddenly, it's Confis who steps forward. Fools, rails the Nansir Prince Imperial. Rank idiots. You would honor this man? You'd acclaim acts that nearly doomed the entire Holy War? Coithus Saobon, battle celebrant? Fool celebrant, I say. The man nearly saw all of you killed on these cursed fields. Kellus considers intervening, since Saobon would be useless to him if discredited. A powerful voice issues from the lower tiers. The craven see folly everywhere, booms the barbarian, Neir Urs Skiotha. They would call their own cowardice prudence. Confis laughs and places his hand on the pommel of his sword. So I am a coward, am I, Sylvendi? In a manner. Since defeating the people, much glory has been heaped upon your name. Because of this, you begrudge others that same glory. Coithus Saon has defeated Scarus, no mean thing. But since this glory is not yours, you think it false. You call it foolishness, blind luck. It was blind luck, cries Confus. The gods favor the drunk and the soft of head. That's the only lesson we've learned. I cannot speak to what your gods favor, Nair replies, but you have learned much. You have learned the strengths and the shortcomings of Fanim tactics. You have witnessed the limits of Enrethi patience, and you have taught as well. You have taught them fear. Even now, they run like jackals before the wolf. Cheers begin to erupt through the crowds, and the barbarian grins. Confus has been outplayed by the Sylvendi, but he also reacts with a confident smile. Kellus realizes the Nansir Exalt General might prove to be most difficult to master. Not only does he suffer a lunatic pride, he has a pathological disregard for the estimations of others, and Kellus knows he is planning something for the Holy War. Something catastrophic. The great lords argue about their next move. Some claim it would be better for them to continue traveling separately. Proius argues that they need to take Hinnereth, the capital of Gedea, not to take the city, but to secure its surrounding fields before they could be prematurely harvested and sheltered within its walls. Against Confus's wishes, several thousand horsemen would be mustered and sent out, under Earl Athgieri, Palatine Ingiaban, and Earl Werigen Greatheart. Kellus locks eyes with Sarcellus again, and sees that the thing now taunts him. There could be no doubt, not any longer. They knew that Kellus could see them. I must move quickly, father. After the council meeting, Ikirai Confus is in his tent, drinking with his general, Martimus. Of all his officers, he trusts Martimus the most, favoring his dry wit and bluntness. The pair discuss the strange prince of Atrathau and his prophetic claims. Confus reveals what transpired in the depths of the Endiamine Heights with the abomination that was Skios. So you think this Prince Kellus is a Sisharum spy as well? A contact of some kind? He is something, Martimus. Just what remains to be seen. No stranger to courtly intrigue, Confus knows he must choose his move carefully. He instructs Martimus to start playing the role of disciple to this new prophet. Earl Athgieri leads Kellus through the war camp, on his way to see Prince Saubon. The young Galioth is easily manipulated by the Dunyang, who seems interested in learning the subtleties of his people's traditions. In mere minutes, he gains the confidence and admiration of Saubon's precocious nephew. Athgieri would hence look on Kellus as a friend and more, as someone who made him wiser, better, than he was with other men. The pair pauses to observe a Galioth contest of strength, an ancient game called Gandoki, or Shadows. Their wrists bound to the ends of two poles, contestants try to knock each other off their footing. Suddenly, Sarcellus appears and demands a word with Kellus in private. Athgieri gives them some room, and Kellus locks eyes with the false Shriel Knight, deepening his study of the creature. Pupils dilating, pulse quickening, breath changing. It possesses involuntary responses. The real Sarcellus must be long dead, Kellus ponders. In his stead is a beast of some kind, exquisitely trained. It has wrenched the Shriel Knight from his place and assumed all that he once was. It has robbed him even of his death. Treading carefully, Kellus tries to make himself a mystery for the skin spy to solve. He suggests that the previous Sarcellus had shared certain secrets, that he spoke of an endless hunger, admitted to not being what he seemed, that he was tasked with observing the mandate schoolman, Achamian, seducing his lover Esmenet. Twitching imperceptibly, the new version of Sarcellus appears to believe the outrageous lies, but Kellus is unsure of how much time this is purchased. Suddenly, Sarcellus grabs him by the forearm and pulls him into the Gandoki circle. Galioth warriors cheer in approval of the new challenge and bind their wrists to the sticks, a bonfire between them. The game begins cautiously, each man trying to knock the other off balance. Kellus enters a trance-like state, focusing all of his attention on the skin spy. We are old, Anaserembor, very, very old. Age is power in this world. Very many have sought to play the game you now play. Kellus realizes that the abomination wants him dead after all. It intends to use the pretext of the Gandoki match, staging an accident. We've had 1,000 foes through the millennia, and we've made shrieking agonies of their hearths, wildernesses of their nations, mantles of their skins. Kellus might turn the tables on the skin spy and slay it instead, but that would only make him even more of a threat in the eyes of the consort. All of them, Anaserembor, and you are no different. Sarcellus kicks at the bonfire between them, showering Kellus with ash and flames. The pair battle in the smoke, each surprising the other with an unexpected strength. Barreling forward, the skin spy pushes the Dunyain into a tent, away from the eyes of their Galioth audience, hiding the kill. This must end, thinks Kellus as he lifts the thing into the air and slaps it to the ground. The astounded Galioth rush over to find only one man still on his feet, the other pressing himself up to his hands and knees. The Prince of Atrathau is declared the winner. What have I done, Father? As they unbound his wrists, slapping him on the back and swearing they'd never seen the like, Kellus watches the skin spy rise. Bones should have been broken, but then Kellus realizes it is a thing without bones, a thing of cartilage, like a shark. Alone in his tent, Saon obsesses over what happened on the plains of Mengeta, replaying the scene with Kusalt in his mind's eye. The old groom was the one man who ever really knew him, who loved him, or so he thought. When Athgieri enters to inform his uncle that he has brought the Prince of Atrathau, he is rebuked. Send him away. I cannot have him see me like this. Again, the dying words of Kusalt. I would have you know how much I hated you. His voice cracking, Saon again orders his nephew to send Kellus away. Teary-eyed, he can do little but stare at the bones rising impossibly from the ground of his tent. Late at night, the restless Grandmaster of the Scarlet Spires surveys the battle plain at the side of his spymaster, their eunuch bodyguards at a discreet distance. They've studied the field to establish how 1,000 or so men of the Tusk could defeat a dozen Sisharum. Iocus admits that they know relatively little of how their enemy operates. Most unsettling, seeing the work of sorcery without the mark. I had forgotten. One more reason to stamp out the Suk, adds Eleazaris. What did you find? The pale-skinned spymaster reports that the Sisharum had walked, presumably to avoid the Enrithi's Kore bowmen, yet they lacked any cavalry escort, which would be customary among the Fanim. Arrogance, declares Eleazaris. They waived precaution because they thought themselves invincible. This, then, shall be our strategy. We conserve ourselves for Shimei. Let these dogs continue killing as many Sisharum as they can. The Scarlet Spires' conversation turns to the matter of Drusus Achamian. Convinced that the skin spies are a Sisharum ploy, they posit that the Mandati must be linked to them as well. Eleazaris wants Achamian seized and interrogated, but Iocus remains skeptical. Over the centuries, the Scarlet Spires had abducted dozens of Mandate schoolmen, hoping to wrest from them the secrets of the Gnosis, the sorcery of the ancient North. Not one had succumbed. I fear that even under torment, he might insist that the faceless abomination was of the consult, not the Sisharum. There is more to this. There's always more, declares Eleazaris with an air of finality. Why else would men murder men? In the distance, countless maggot-white forms gouge their own faces, spilling black blood. The whirlwind roars through it all, tossing thousands into the air. The no-god walks, its voice issuing from innumerable shrunk throats.
What do you see?
Through the churning wind, Seswatha glimpses a gleaming silver sarcophagus high in the sky. The king turns away, reaching for the heron spear.
Tell me, what am...
Achamian awakes in his tent with a shudder, his hands cramped into claws. A tender voice is cooing reassurances, wiping tears from his cheeks. Esmenet holds the sorcerer in her arms for a long while, as he strains to blot out the ancient past, to focus on the here and now. But Seswatha's dreams refuse to relinquish their grip. The voice of the whirlwind still echoes in his ears.
What do you see?
She speaks to him of Kellus, who they both agreed was a mystery that needed solving. Everyone seems to be whispering about the Prince of Atrathau lately, about what he said to Prince Coithus Salbon, but Esmenet is struck by the way the man speaks.
I must know what you see.
Achamian is struggling to follow her logic, but she insists on explaining how everything Kellus says is either uncomfortably near, as if right there inside your skin, or impossibly far, as if spoken from some distant mountaintop from which he can see everything.
I cannot see.
I can't stay here, Achamian interrupts. This place is shaking me to pieces. Echoes, the no-god. This was where they struck him down. I know it sounds mad, but I think this place recognizes me, or Seswatha within me.
Tell me.
The sorcerer and the harlot pack up and leave. They will camp alone in the hills until the holy war resumes its march. Are you sure, Akka? We'll be safe. We just need to be far for a while.